Bien, amigos de Qué Buena Radio TV, nosotros estamos acompañando el proceso electoral en la provincia de Ontario. Como se sabe, este día lunes 24 de octubre se llevarán a cabo elecciones en todos los municipios de la provincia de Ontario. Y no es diferente aquí en Vaughan. Nos encontramos esta noche acompañando un evento importante, un debate entre los candidatos a la municipalidad de esta ciudad, así como a los candidatos a consejeros y también al consejo escolar. A lo largo de esta cobertura, nosotros les traeremos a algunos de los participantes de este proceso electoral, algunos de los candidatos que nos informarán sobre sus planes, sobre sus proyectos para esta ciudad, para la administración. Continuamos en la cobertura aquí del proceso electoral en la ciudad de Vaughan. Este servicio de Qué Buena Radio TV es justamente para toda la comunidad de habla hispana de esta ciudad, para que pueda informarse acerca de las propuestas de los candidatos a los diversos cargos. También, primero, desde luego, a la alcaldía, luego a los consejos, pero también a los consejos escolares. En este momento nos acompaña Nicole Huskovic. Ella es candidata a trustee justamente en las áreas 2 y 3 de la ciudad de Vaughan. La pregunta, por una cuestión de equidad, es la misma para todos los candidatos. Simplemente, ¿cuáles son sus planes de ser elegida? Nicole, what are your plans if elected?
If elected candidate for trustee in Vaughan areas 2 and 3, I plan on creating a great foundation for families. I'd like to see more communication between families and the school, communication between community organizations and the school. I would like to work on gap closing, working on literacy, numeracy, and letting kids be kids. We need to get back to the basics. We have a big job to do with the pandemic. A lot of children have fallen behind and they're falling through the cracks. We need to work together to get the kids back on track and work on our literacy and numeracy skills, as well as advocating for family as our first teachers.
Nicole, good luck. Thank you so much. Good luck in these elections.
Thank you so much.
Bien amigos, Nicole Hutzkovic, candidata a trustee en las áreas 2 y 3 de la ciudad de Vaughan. Volvemos en cualquier momento. Okay.
The city of Vaughan is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people today. As representatives of the people of the city of Vaughan, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory. You all can take your seats. So hi everyone, I'm super happy and excited to be here today. My name is Eden Maria. I'm 15 years old from Vaughan, Ontario, and I am a dancer, singer-songwriter, actress, and I'm also a motivational speaker for mental health, and I have my own not-for-profit organization called Youth to Youth Global. On music and the arts, while also helping others who are facing similar situations. As a founder of Youth to Youth Global, I do suffer from generalized anxiety disorder. I was diagnosed when I was a very young age, at the age of 4. And the arts have really been a huge life opener for me because it really helped me through my darkest days and turned something negative, such a negative experience in my life, and turned it into a positive, which is why I wanted to create this program in the first place to help other youth and show them that it's okay not to be okay, and so that we don't see our youth today suffering in silence. So I always promote positive youth mental health. Before I begin my set, I just wanted to thank all the mayors and councilors who are actually here today, who have reached out to me, and who have supported my not-for-profit organization and always support me in everything that I do. I'm really grateful, and I'm grateful for all my supporters here, supporting me and being through this journey on making youth mental health part of the school board system. While having my not-for-profit organization, I decided to release an original song of mine. This is my first original. It talks about my struggles dealing with generalized anxiety disorder and how music and the arts have been a life-changing thing that has changed my life for the better. It is on all streaming platforms, and this is called Today I, so I hope you all enjoy. Here you are again, showing up with no invitation. Should I ask how you are, or should I already know? You don't visit often, as by Rachel Clapton. I really do enjoy this song, and I love singing this song, so I hope you all enjoy it.
In my head, I'm in a picture.
gmail.com. Thank you all again, and I hope you have a great day.
Hello all, we'd like to thank you for joining us today for the 2022 mayoral election committee for the city of Vaughan. I'd like to introduce you to your candidates for mayor, Mr. Danny DeSantis and Mr. Vaughan. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming tonight, and thank you very much for your efforts to successfully campaign today. Before we begin, I'd like to let everyone here know and let everyone know that going to give the opportunity for each of these gentlemen to describe their platform to you, give them a chance to answer their questions in full, respond as required, and also give a chance to everyone in the audience, time permitting, a number of questions that you might have on your minds that are important to you and your city. How does that sound? Good? Okay. All right, without further ado, gentlemen, I'd like to offer you both the opportunity to start by expressing yourselves to the group here. I think it's important that everyone knows who their leaders are of the future. We'll talk about your platform later on, but if you could start off by introducing yourselves, a bit about your track record, your professional success, and why you've decided to be a candidate for the great city of Toronto. Or Vaughan.
Okay,
Danny,
perfect. I can start. Beautiful. So, my name is Danny DeSantis. DeSantis in North, they call me. I'm a first-generation Italian, Canadian, who's proud to call Vaughan my home now. So, I don't want to talk off script. I want to talk genuine the way I do it at the doors. You know, I was born and raised in Toronto, and my parents immigrated right here in Canada. And one thing that I noticed, you know, everyone's similar, especially here. Everyone immigrated here, and one of the reasons is because of freedom in this country. Freedom to start a small business, to express yourself, and recently in the last couple of years I got very involved, especially with the political, where everything was happening politically. But I started a small little business when I was a little guy. I was 16, 17 years old, and what's very interesting, what really motivated me at 16, 17, my pops, my old guy, says, and I said, yeah, I need a little bit of funds. I want to buy a vehicle. And he goes, you're 16, va la vuda. So we all know what that means. He said, go to work. So as I was going to school, I went to college. I took a course on construction technician management. We did well. I started a small little business, and it was lawn care. Turned to construction landscape, and very quickly, what I noticed was the business grew, and I noticed that my interaction with people, and people wanted to work with me one-on-one. I did very well with that. I turned into a construction landscaping business. I would work hand in hand with people that would work with me. I sold that in my 30s. I did very well with that, got very fortunate. I got the offer I couldn't say no to, I guess. And in my journey, I've met a lot of people, invested in several businesses, you know, all across the board. I'm very proud. In the last 6 years, what I don't talk enough about is I invested in senior home living and mental health all across Northern Ontario. I joined with a nice group right here in Vaughan. And a perfect example, I make it very clear, transparent. One of the deals that we're working on is Sault Ste. Marie Hospital, the old hospital. We purchased this, and we're working on 100 beds there, all across with the same platform. So we've done very well in the mental health, similar in North Bay. So most of the deals that I'm working on are out of Vaughan, but my office is right here in Vaughan. So, you know, I was very hungry in business, you know, very ambitious. And I noticed that it's my interaction with people. I love to make deals, and you know, it's a great thing. So, what's inspired me to really run, I've really seen a disconnection with politicians. I've seen a disconnection where people, you know, you knock on those doors, and I tell you, they're like, you're just like everybody else, and I get offended. I'm like, no, this is why I'm running, because I've also lost that connection with the politicians. I know a lot of them. You know, MPs, MPPs, councillors. You know, I bumped heads with Mayor John Tory, many of them. So, you know, I just feel that the connection needs to be closer. And what I've done with this campaign in a short period of time, in 2 months, you know, I think I've created a surge of people seeing that hope, and I'm creating that hope because I am on the ground. And, you know, I'm on the ground where if you even see that white truck with those signs, 70% of the time, that's me in there. And sometimes I'm putting on my own signs. That's me sometimes. I'm out there and I knock on those doors. And, you know, one of the biggest things that really touched me when I started 2 months ago is I knock on those doors and I see tears coming down from seniors. And I know what it is. It's the cost of living. You know, they can't afford to put food on the table. It's a big problem. And I look at, when I see them, I see my father, I see my mother, and I look, I'm like, someone needs to step up here. It's now gone to next level for me right now. I know the problems Vaughan is dealing with, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. We understand about cost of living. We can do something municipally. We understand about crime. Crime's a big problem right here. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't go hard on crime, you know, these people, they have no heart. They will come and take your vehicles. We all see it. You see it, they're taking vehicles. You know, seniors are afraid to leave their homes. It's not going to happen with a DeSantis. With a DeSantis, I'm going to tell you, I'll be very, very tough on crime. And, you know, that's that. And, you know, infrastructure. I know we're going to talk about infrastructure. We need to do better. It's unfortunate. I wanted to direct some statements to, you know, the ex-Minister of Transportation. You know, we have a Minister of Transportation that had the ability to fund you know, infrastructure. He had, you know, it's disheartening watching this coming out that he wants to do roads and all that stuff, but he had the ability to even be a mayor. He could have done it, and he didn't do it. He failed the community. He failed the people. And I'm going to tell you one thing that I hear at the door. They want to change. The people want to change. They've had enough. So when you look at me, don't look at me as a politician, because I've lost, you know, trust with that word. So I want to bring that connection back with the people and let them know that I'm going to be always on the ground. I'm a mayor in my own world. Believe me, I'm a mayor in my own world. But I want to be the mayor because I know I have that connection. I can bring people together. You know, we just watched something very magical right now. Everyone saw it. You saw someone singing. And, you know, every single person here was touched with that voice, right? We were touched, and it didn't matter what color, creed. This is what music does. We need more music and more arts. This is what it does, and we need to do it. We're going to do it. So, you know, those are some of the areas that you expect as a mayor, as a DeSantis. I like to have a good time, but I like to be very, very serious, and that's what brought my success. And this election is not about me. Believe me, it's not about me. It's about the people, and I want to lead the people to the right way, to where we need to be. So, you know, that's what it is, and I'm sure they're going to have some more tough questions. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. DeSantis. Mr. D'Onofrio.
Thank you. Thank you, Denny. First of all, I want to recognize Ida. I'm no Simon Cole, but I want to tell you, don't stop following your dream. I was very moved by your singing. Why am I running for mayor in the city of Vaughan? Well, a little background about myself. I was an auditor for a major automotive company. After working many years in the audit department, I decided to open my own warranty company. Not only do I own a warranty company, I own a warranty company for heavy trucks. We specialize in heavy truck warranty right across Canada, including right here in Vaughan. So you should say to yourself, why do I want to run for mayor of the city of Vaughan? I think we share the same consensus, Danny and I, and that is that the city of Vaughan needs to have some integrity brought back to it. The current council, the current mayor on his way out, left the city in a ruins, in my opinion. Crime is at its all-time highest. The financial state of the city of Vaughan is at the worst state it's ever been. The perception out there shows it's good. Wait till one of us gets in and uncovers the real undoing of what this council did. It's time for change. It's time for real change. It's time for a business owner to run the city like a business, like a corporation that it was supposed to be run by. It's not the old boys club anymore. It's got to end. The city belongs to the residents of Vaughan. I'm running for mayor of Vaughan to give the city back to the people.
Thank you, Mr. D'Onofrio.
Thank you.
Now, you might all be wondering, who is this gentleman at the stage with these two fine candidates? And I'm the president and vice chairman of Vaughan Associates, which is an insurance brokerage. Corporate head office is here in Vaughan, and we insure many of the small and medium businesses in this great city. So we feel that it is our duty to be a part of allowing you, the people, to hear the candidates, to make a decision as to how your city is going to be run going forward. I'm honored to have that opportunity to be here, and absolutely thrilled to give these two gentlemen a platform to speak about everything that they think is relevant to you and to them in this role. So without further ado, let's launch into some of these questions that we have deemed as important. Keep in mind, you guys can ask any filling questions when we give you guys time on this stage. Mr. D'Onofrio, we're going to start with you. Now, on the back of both your incredible commercial experience, your careers, this city is subject to what every city in this country, in fact in this world, has experienced over the last 2 years. 2 years of lockdowns, a looming recession, and quite frankly a lot of fear as to how we are going to be able to not only sustain the cost of living here, sustain bringing in businesses, operations, but how are we going to grow and how are we going to come out of this stronger and better. From your platform and your experience, how do you view your ability and what is your plan to ensure that you stimulate the economy here in Vaughan?
Thank you. It's a great question. As a matter of fact, my business through the pandemic was busier than it ever was. And my heart goes out to businesses in Vaughan. You know, you take a classic example of Market Lane. They've dug up all of Market Lane and nobody can get through. The businesses are suffering. But getting back to the original question, we need to shop in Vaughan. We need to make our purchases local in Vaughan. This current council, this current mayor, has not even thought of that because they've never owned a business. They have no concept of business. What I want to do is create a points card. Every time you shop in Vaughan, it comes off your property taxes. We need to shop in Vaughan. We need to shop local. We need to stimulate the economy in the city of Vaughan. With all due respect to Toronto, why do we go to Sherway? Why do we go to the Eaton Centre? We have great shops locally in Vaughan. I probably, with the audience out here, if I went to any one of you, there's a local business person out here. I spoke to a woman here who has a local business. Why are we going to the city of Toronto to a spa out there to get massage when we have local business here? We need to shop locally. Based on the program I'm going to put together, people are going to stay within Vaughan and shop in Vaughan. As a matter of fact, people in Toronto are going to come and shop in our great city of Vaughan to show what we actually do here in Vaughan, what we manufacture and what we sell.
Thank you, Mr. D'Onofrio.
Thank you.
Mr. DeSantis?
So we're talking about the pandemic and the shutdowns, is that what we're talking about?
Yes, and you know, as a result of that, obviously we have concerns about the economy, not only at a national level, but certainly at a community local level.
So I make it clear, 'cause I don't like to play, I make it very, very clear. Lockdowns and shutdowns are wrong, should have never happened. I can understand just in the city of Vaughan, it's country. I will tell you that we're not going to President DeSantis is the mayor of Vaughan. science doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Businesses are suffering. Anxiety, mental health spike because of this. So we've created another pandemic. So make it very clear so people understand that I'm absolutely 100% against the mandates. Matter of fact, I went as far as getting involved in building some companies. I think I spoke and I created tens of thousands of people come to my campus and made it very clear. So we are against that. We need to help small businesses. We need to take some of the red tape. Small businesses are the backbone of any city. We need to support them. Because if they go, the people go. We can have jobs. I think jobs, it's a great thing. So, that's my intentions with that. We need to encourage investors. People have lost faith. So there you have it, and make it very, very clear. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of lockdowns. As a matter of fact, in my business, trucking never stopped. They brought all our goods to us. They brought our vaccines to us. They brought our food to us. A truck delivers everything to you. The only thing they don't deliver is a wage. But I can tell you, the trucking industry really took a hit from what our government did to them. I'm not a fan of lockdowns. There's got to be another way if this ever happens again.
Thank you. Now, continuing on the theme with lockdowns, as a result of these lockdowns, we have experienced an incredible amount of violent crimes in this great city and cities across this country. It has become evident to me after speaking to these people here
that Vaughan has a critical issue as it relates to violent crimes, as it relates to domestic violence, to the point where I've been told that one such nonprofit organization in the York region received over 4,000 calls of domestic violence and child abuse in the last 12 months. With that being said, I would like to ask you first, Paul, what your position on violent crimes and domestic abuse is as it relates to your platform addressing this issue on a regular basis in the city.
I'm going to answer it in two parts. First and foremost, we need to protect the women and children. Believe it or not, it's real. It does happen out there. We take it for granted. It doesn't happen. Everything's great. We need to create a stronger foundation of respect for violence against women and children. But on a second note, anyone who lives in the community, not too long ago, we had a violent shooting right over here at Virginia's Plaza. And I'll tell you, here's what the issue is. I was driving along Woodbridge Avenue the other day, and there was a police officer directing traffic, and I stopped and I spoke to him. He was actually a staff sergeant who said, I know you're getting off road. You ran last time against the mayor. I said, that's right. And I said, my question to you is, I said, should I become mayor? What is it I can do for you? He shut his camera off and he said, we have a very serious problem in the city of Vaughan. We're short officers. We need police officers. Very, very quickly. And if I touch on just another note in respect to that, EMS altogether, did you know that if you call the fire department, a truck that used to come with 4 fire individuals in that truck is down to 2. So that means if there's a structure fire, the first thing the firemen are going to do, or fire people are going to do, is rescue their own. So if your loved one is burning in a building up there, it's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, candidly, off the record, a captain of the Vaughan Fire Department told me there's 16 trucks in blackout right now, meaning these trucks are parked because they don't have the complement of staff to run these trucks. This council, this mayor, has put the city in danger. There's condos being built. There's not even enough trucks or rescue people, fire, police, ambulance, to accommodate the city right now. This is what this council has done to the people, residents of Vaughan.
So we're talking about violence. Violence I just finished saying, if you don't tackle this, it's going to continue. So I'm suggesting, proposing that we put security on the ground. And I'm not necessarily saying police, I'm saying security on the ground. When we go home and sleep, we're home and sleep, that's when the thieves come out. Hijacking, assaults, all that interesting stuff. The baby boomer here is huge and very vulnerable. So it's we need more security on the ground. That's what we're proposing all across. We tried it as a pilot where people have access that they can page police directly. We do need, I just spoke to one of the captains, as a matter of fact, last week, and there is a shortage of police right here. Immediately, there are police that have been laid off because they've been discriminated in the last 2 years. We all know what happened. They were forced to get vaccinated. They're going to get their job back, every single one of them. Fire, police. We're going to stop discrimination. Discrimination's not going to happen. And I'm going to make it very clear. People are free people. We're not going to force people with anything. Not that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at that, more security on the ground, and we're going to let the criminals know that we're watching them while we're sleeping at night. We're watching them. So it's very straightforward. It's going to be tough love, and that's what it is. Thank you.
You're experiencing one of the most rapidly growing cities in this country. It's expected that by 2041, 500,000 residents in this great city, of which 30% represent 55 adults. Now, back in October of 2021, the Ontario government announced that it would be building a long-term care home here in the city of Vaughan. 246 beds, and set to be finished in the next. That signals to us that they've identified an issue with their program here, healthcare, and how we plan on addressing support of the aging Sir DeSantis, how will your platform address this issue?
Well, look, we understand that we have a baby boomer right here in Vaughan. That is my space. I'm an investor. I'm in senior home living, as I just expressed. And I understand it. So I won't be directly involved in a personal capacity. But in capacity of the city, we need to continue this. This is a big problem. And I understand that even the healthcare within these facilities are lacking with regards to the nurses and doctors. We need to do better. You take a look at the elderly. Those are our moms, dads. We owe it to them right now to help. We need to help and make sure that they're secure all times. So we're going to continue building that area. I am in that space, so I'm all for that for sure.
The seniors in Vaughan are very near and dear to my heart. I had my father at a nursing home in Vaughan, very reputable one. And the fact of the matter is, I wanted to go to my heart to take my father out of school. The fact of the matter is, when I approached the mask with my dad and get in there, they bluntly told me in my face, "You might have to die before I'm back." Can you imagine? We're not going to have a senior home anytime soon. I'll tell you that right now, just like the promise of Mr. Sullivan, widening or expanding highways and whatever he likes to do in the gap bill. What we need to do is look at a program, if the seniors are well enough to keep them in their home, give them a relief of their property taxes. Why are seniors paying school taxes when they don't have kids in school? Work together with the provincial government to have their medication for free and delivered to their home. Work with a local organization to have their snow cleared, their grass cut. That's the quick fix. Bricks and mortar don't happen overnight. And there's too much political red tape to make this happen. Do we need it? Absolutely. The quick fix is to keep the residents, help them out, keep them in their home, provide the proper PSW funding, provide the proper medication, provide proper home care. For goodness sake, give them a break on the taxes they live in the city for 20 years.
freeze on tax. We need to take a look at water bills. I mean, I've had, see, I was just like, look at this water bill I'm paying. I'm like, unbelievable. You're kidding. Oh my God. It's unbelievable. It doesn't even make sense. You know, they have a cost of living. They make X amount of dollars every month. And cost of living, everything's spiked. So how do we justify that? And this is where I would just say, we need to help on the municipal level. We can help. Everyone says, oh, we don't have a budget. Yes, we do. We just got to take a look at, I want to take a look at all budgets. I want to take a look at grandfather budgets that have been there for 10, 15 years that are actually relevant. Nobody looks at them. People want to spend them because if they don't spend, they're not going to get funded. We need to take a look at that. And I'm not talking about cutting. I'm talking about reallocating from one fund to another. Let's do it. We can do it. So, look, it's interesting that I want to run this city just the way I ran my life. You know, everyone said you can't do it. Sure, you can do it. You can do it. Everything's possible. You know, sometimes you've got to bump heads with counselors, and sometimes you've got to bump heads with whomever to get things done. That's just the way it is. And yes, we can build a senior home very quickly. We've got a lot of land, crown land, and we can make deals and let's get it going. So, no, it is possible. We can do it, and I'm going to stay positive on it, and I'm going to stick to my word on it. That I guarantee. Thank you.
The other piece to this equation is how many councillors do we have in the city of Vaughan? Do we know? 5. Thank you. Every single one of them either gets a city-assigned vehicle and or mileage expense. Do you know that each councillor's expense report the term of last 4 years is over $250,000 each? How does that make you feel? And if you don't believe me, go FOI it for yourself. Monthly car expenses of $12,000. I don't even do that in my own company. Monthly expenses of computer and IT of $500 times 12 times 4 years, and seniors can barely afford their property taxes? Give me a break. Give me a break. I don't even dare pull the mayor's expense report because I tell you, all of you would be horrified. But I did sample 3 councillors. It's got to stop. You know, I'm going to take a quote from Rob Ford. Some of you may like him, might not like him, but the gravy train has to stop. The City of Vaughan Old Boys Club needs to stop immediately. And I'll tell you, if you elect Del Duca in, you're going to be in for a horrible roller coaster ride. The actions of his government and what he's done speak for themselves. This is not me speaking. It's not of my opinion. They speak for themselves. Wasteful spending, taxpayers' dollars, is inappropriate and needs to stop. As a matter of fact, it's criminal. Should I be elected mayor, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call in an audit team, and I want to audit the expenses of the previous mayor and council. And I'm going to tell you, if I find criminal activity, the YRP will have no choice but to file charges. And if they won't do it, the OPP will.
Thank you, Mr. Dumont.
And Danny, I challenge you to do the same if you get in,
Which is this?
to audit the council's expenses.
Well, I'll tell you this, you know, there's a reason why 2 of them are not here, okay? Their track record speaks for itself, okay? There's a reason why Stephen Del Duca is not here and Sandra's not here. Because there is a reason. There's a reason because they know that we call them out. So I'm not going to waste my time in what they've done. We all know we're going to let them go, and I'm going to tell you something. This campaign, what we're going to do, and what we're doing is we're going to bring hope, and we're going to make a change. And you know, we take a look. This is on Vaughan right now. Vaughan's got to make the most critical decision right now. They're going to make a decision on someone's track record. And this is what I think people should be doing. Before they put their name, do they have a track record? Have they started a business? Do they even understand about budgeting? We don't see that. They knock on doors, they give you the promises, but they've never ran a business. They manage the city's money, but they never manage their money. You know, my businesses, I manage my funds, and that's what brought the success. I'm going to do, if I can do the same thing I've done on a personal, on a business level, and I can do this for the city of Vaughan, I guarantee you that the Vaughan will be in a good place in the next 4 or 5 years. It's going to take a while, and yeah, we'll take a look at, you know, the mismanagement of the politicians. We're not going to dwell on it. We're going to call it out. And by the way, if anyone has intentions, they have to have the intentions of the people. That's the way it is. So.
Thank you, Mr. DeSantis.
Thank you.
So, you know, you guys have both been speaking about all of the economics of the city and maybe even some household economics as well. A major issue that we have across all major cities in this country is housing affordability, and that is not just subject to home ownership, but it's also becoming subject to renting. And Vaughan is absolutely subject to this crisis. If elected as a mayor, how would each of your platforms address this issue while ensuring that we continue the growth trajectory that we have projected and bringing in the right types of people and businesses into this great city?
You know, I'll jump on that quickly. Yeah. You know, affordability. When I talk about affordability, I talk about, you know, developers want to come and continue developing. They need to have some of the condos or housing affordable for the people. So, you know, not necessarily some of the most high-end, you know, material in these houses. I mean, this is just what it is. But it's got to be more affordable. People can't afford. You know, I knock on the doors and I see, you know, kids, you know, they're like, my kids can't even leave the house because they can't afford a home and they can't afford rent. You know, people are paying $25,000, $3,000 rent a month. It doesn't, who even makes that? You know, after you don't even have money for food. We need to take a look at it. It's a big problem and we're going to have to tackle it. So, you know, that's what it is. Developers need to be more involved. And I'm going to say this, you know, my campaign is not funded by developers. I know people always like to talk about that on social media. So I'm going to talk about it right now. Now, $1 has been funded in my campaign from developers. We know who they're funding. They're not here, okay? So I was fortunate to do a lot of business with good people, and they believe that I'm fighting for the right thing, and they wanted to donate to us, which is fantastic. You know, I'm very fiscally responsible. You can take a look at some of my signs. I did run for Willowdale as a councillor. You all know that. I did very, very well. And we reused some of our signs. Is that a bad thing? Or is it maybe something that maybe say, you know what, maybe this guy, you know, or I could have the best signs, nice sign? No. This is about, you look at the character of the person. I'm going to save. I'm going to run that campaign. And I'm going to let people know what we stand for. So I am, man, very fiscally responsible. We're going to take a look at every single dollar. As a matter of fact, if I'm a mayor, I might even take a look how much they're paying the mayor. Let's cut the mayor. If I'm the mayor, I'm going to cut my pay. How's that one for you? And I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. So there you go.
So affordable housing.
Yes, so to make sure we stay on track, discussions about affordable housing, but you know, as well, if you have some more fiscal policy that you'd like to discuss, we'll give you time for that.
There's not a doubt in anybody's mind, based on the gridlock that we have in Vaughan, that Vaughan is growing very, very quickly. As a matter of fact, I remember when it was the town of Vaughan. We can't stop development. However, if we have the right task force in place to govern what goes on in Vaughan, and I'm not talking staffers at the city of Vaughan, I'm talking residents on a mayor's task force that overlook and give opinion as to what's going on. Vaughan is the highest capital of banquet halls, great banquet halls, funeral homes, and we have the most best developers in Vaughan, believe it or not. As Danny said, a lot of the developers fund the candidates that are not here. However, I will work with these developers. I will utilize their expert set of skills on my rules, on my task force, and I will sit them down and tell them, for the youth of Vaughan, actually I'm very pleased that there's youth of Vaughan sitting in here today. The youth of Vaughan need to own a home. Why do they want to live in Vaughan? They want to live near their parents. They need help from their parents, or they want to help their parents. I will sit with the developers. They will design homes that are rent to own. That way the youth can get back in a home.
Thank you, Mr. D'Onofrio. How are we doing on time? Yeah, okay. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to offer each one of you, let's say 60 seconds to close out, your platform, whatever it is that you think that needs to be said. And then we're going to open up the floor to the citizens here for their questions, okay? So, Mr. DeSantis, going to start with you, please.
Well, I leave it at this, and as I expressed, I want to be the mayor of Vaughan. I think that we can do a lot of good things. We're going to change the approach. Like I said, I want to change the approach and interact with the people. I think it's important, also funding the arts. And, I want, people work, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and there's no excitement. We need to create more excitement, more festivals. I want people to be able to walk at Woodbridge Avenue and say, wow, this is like very unique. I want to make a change. We want to make a change. And I know I'm the voice for change right now. A lot of people are talking about the DeSantis movement. So I'm going to dedicate. I put all my business aside for this. And I would do it all day long. So I want to make that change. I want to fight. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to do 2 terms if we get elected, because that's what it should be. Always, only 2 terms. And we want to stop this career politician. So I hope I have your support. And thank you so much.
Mr. D'Onofrio, your closing remarks.
Thank you. Danny and I share the same information, and that's Vaughan needs change. And the change is standing up here on the stage. We're both business owners. We both understand how business should be run. And we both agree, Danny, we both agree that the city should be run like a business, like a corporation. The other individuals have no concept whatsoever. They've never owned a business. And let me tell you, if they did, they'd probably be bankrupt by now. Anyway, about me. It's all about supporting the families in Vaughan, the seniors, the youth, and the young couples that are trying to survive in Vaughan. Most importantly, near and dear to my heart, is supporting business. I'm a business owner. Business in Vaughan needs to thrive. If they don't thrive in Vaughan, we're not going to have business. Our taxes are going to go through the roof. We've already had a whole 12 years of mismanaged money. It's not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. And of course, we need to look at affordable housing for our youth so that they can enjoy the same great Vaughan that it was 30 years ago. I put my name in forth to be your mayor because this city needs to be run like a corporation, like a business. Bring integrity, bring accountability, and bring honesty back into the city of Vaughan.
Thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank you.
So, we'll open up the floor to everyone here. I'll ask you put your hand up. If it's directed at one of the candidates, please make that clear, and we'll give an opportunity for the other candidate to also answer that same question. Yes, you, please.
Sure. I can
Why don't you
jump
go ahead.
onto that. You know, I think we got to be a little bit more transparent. I talk about it. You know, I slowly talk about all the businesses that I've been involved in. Most of them were acquisitions and bought, sold, all that. I think we need to talk and tell people where we are involved. You know, I think it's important that when someone runs an office, that there is some sort of success. And success, that they have that success of running a business. And you know, they need to say, okay, listen, I've done well, I'm gonna put it aside. And that's what I'm prepared to do. I've done it already, I put it aside. I'm not involved in any of my businesses right now. Thank God I got some good partners, right? So I think there's more transparency on that end. You should not be running, you know what's funny? People ask me a lot, they're like, why are you running? My partners go, you're crazy, what are you running for? Like, they're gonna find things and you're gonna, I said, you know what? I've done well, I'm happy. I'm in my mid-40s. I wanna get back, I wanna fight for the people. I wanna change it and fight for the people. I keep saying it and I mean it. But there's gotta be more transparency. We need to tell people, listen, you know, and that's where it is with my senior home living, all my investments and stuff. It's not here in Vaughan. My office is here, but not my investments. So you know, we got to keep that conflict away. You know, getting elected and trying to rich yourself, I guess it's a distasteful thing. And you know, you take a look at some of the past people who've been elected, they've never ran a business. And they didn't have too much success, but they did knocking on those doors and telling people they're going to levitate and do all the funny stuff, and people went out and vote for them. So, you know, there's got to be more track record and more transparency on that end. So it's important.
I think that's a great question. As a matter of fact, it's a very powerful question. If we think local here, let's look at what Stephen Del Duca did. He put a pool in his backyard, way past into TRC land, and didn't even get a permit from the city of Vaughan, and then bullied his way in. As a matter of fact, someone told me that he didn't even pay for the pool. So this type of bullying, this type of abuse of powers is unacceptable in the city. Totally unacceptable. From sitting people on council right now giving their brothers contracts to do the sidewalks and the curbs and live in $3 million condos from developers needs to stop. Needs to stop. All of you wake up in the morning and go to work and work hard for your money. This abuse of your money is going to stop immediately should I become mayor.
Yes, you, please.
So we've heard all of the issues with the platform and what you're going to do to fix Vaughan. What makes you, as a resident of Vaughan, excited about waking up in the morning living in Vaughan?
This is directed to me? Okay. Danny, do you want to?
Why don't you go ahead?
I could jump on anything.
Okay, I'll go first. What makes me excited? First of all, to see the smile on residents' faces when I walk down the sidewalk and say, what a great job you're doing. Because this is your city. I work for you. I work for you. What gets me excited to know that people look at Vaughan as a great place to come and visit, a great place to shop, a great place to come and eat and try all our different restaurants. Come to the venues in Vaughan. Create amazing venues. We saw a great venue tonight. I didn't even know we had this talent in Vaughan. Okay? Now you can imagine if we created an arts center that our own talent was grown in Vaughan, how Drake started. Imagine our own people in Vaughan, how they started. They're on the map. They're at the Oscars. They're at the Emmys. I'll tell you, as mayor, I'm going to go up on the stage with them.
You know, you look at Vaughan right now, it's a fast-growing city, very fast-growing city. And, you know, I always love the tough tasks in life. How can I direct this city to be, you know, so there is no traffic, so people can actually move from one part of the city to another, right? Where the gratification saying, wow, DeSantis really cut down on crime. You know, these are big issues. And if, you know, people say, why, again, to, you know, my statement about why I want to run, I'm okay, the gratification, walking down the street, and people pointing and saying, that's the guy that actually said he was gonna do it, and he did it. That, to me, you can't put $1. There ain't no boosters over there, I'll tell you right now. The gratification is unbelievable, and it really is, You know, so we can do a lot of good things, and I think I can. I got some great ideas. I like to always take a look and step out of the box. You know, I think this city can be, it's a shining armor. Like, people look at Vaughan. If you step away, people that look from out of Vaughan and look and like, got some great business entrepreneurs over here. We got some very wealthy people. People done very, very well here. You know what I mean? So let's use that talent. I know that, you know, we got to bump heads a little with developers, but if we can use the developers in a nice way, not use them in a bad way, in a nice way. Look, if they want to develop, great, but they got to give back to the people first, and that's what it is. And I don't see enough of that. They got to give back. Do you want to develop? Got to give back. Help in infrastructure. Help on the road. Help on the ramp on Langstaff. Help out on 2 outputs going on 400. By the way, I just said Stephen Del Duca. I know he's listening to this. You had that opportunity to do this, like to go up and make a video and say, "I'm going to do this." It's distasteful, you know. And now, you know, that's what it is. I think we can do something very good. So I like that golf course. I golfed there. I used to golf there a lot until I decided to get political. Now I can't golf that much because I'm campaigning. When I heard about them selling that, I thought it was terrible. You know, green is important for me, green space. You know, so I know that has there just been an acquisition? I think there was just an acquisition there where they're not going ahead with development for right now. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, so they're going to have a hard time with me because people really enjoy that golf course. Imagine you're going to do that with the National. Imagine you're going to do that with all these other golf courses. You know, it's part of your community. And you take a look in the map. I was just looking at it the other day, and I see a beautiful green space over there. I'm going to tell you, they're going to have a hard time if we're going to even move ahead with development. That I'll tell you right now. So there's other areas we can touch. I mean, Vaughan, there's a lot of green space. You know, I've touched a little bit about that. I'd really love to keep that golf course there. So if the developer's listening to me, he's not going to be too happy what I'm saying right now, but that's just the way it is. You know, I like the spot, so I'm not going to even talk about development there right about now, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I think, you know, this is one point that I'll agree with Danny, that I think before we go and bulldoze through a golf course and a beautiful green space that's been there for years, there has to be some serious discussion, some serious input from residents of Vaughan, and a task force put in place before any shovel goes in the ground.
Now, I believe it was a two-parter, traffic. Am I right? Was it a two-part question? Traffic was a concern of yours as well?
Traffic.
He threw that in there. I like that.
So,
look, when we talk about you know, development, we need to take a look at infrastructure right now. You take a look at what's happening on Highway 7. I've been saying it. You can't move from one. We all been talking. People canvassing, knocking on doors, counselors. We all know the problem. We need to take a look at infrastructure, right? So before we start talking about more development, infrastructure. So that project's going to have a hard time in my world, I'll tell you. You know, and developers need to get involved. Get involved in there. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars, right? You can't give back a little bit. Like, you're creating you're creating. Look, you wanna do very well. Business, great. I'm all for it. I'm all about business, but you've got to get back to the people. We suffer. Imagine I come knock on their door. Hey guys, I'm gonna raise your taxes because I want to build infrastructure. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for me. You know, so we got to give a little bit. We got to go federally, get some money federally. Got to go provincially. You know, I think Ford has it figured out with infrastructure. I think we're going to work with them on that end. Infrastructure is so huge, and that's how we're going to fix this traffic problem. There's a lot of links that are not connected. Yeah, I know, it's, you know, like I said, I like to look at outside the box. How can we take a look at, how can we flow? The city's not flowing, it's literally congested. I wanna continue with the subway line, you know, I wanna bring it all the way to Vaughan Mills. They should have never stopped boring that hole. It's so expensive to pull that out. Why would they pull that? I mean, just,
You can
the
ask Mr.
decision
Del
makings
Duca.
that they're happening, they're terrible. So you gotta continue. You take a look at Toronto, one of the biggest cities all across northern Ontario, you know, America. And we don't have a subway line. It's fantastic that we connected with Toronto, but we gotta continue. We gotta continue the subway line. From people from moving one part of the city to another, that's how you're gonna stop that, so.
Does anybody know how many people in a day Walt Disney buses from the park to the hotels? Any idea? 300,000 people. They know how to do transit. I took a trip out to Disney World to meet with their fleet director and looked at their bus system. Then I came back here to Vaughan, didn't happen all on the same day, came back here to Vaughan and took a ride on the bus from Martin Grove all the way to Yonge Street. And you know, I was shocked. The maximum of people that were on the bus that I was on was 5 people. We've got 4 buses running down the center lane, 2 buses running down the right lane with no one in it, and a lineup of traffic behind it. The transit system in Vaughan is broken. Over the last 12 years, no one has even looked at it. No one even understands it. Because if they understood it, it would work. More people would leave their car at home, get on a luxury coach bus, maybe one day even an EV bus, electric bus for those of you that don't know what EV is. Get on that bus, a great looking bus, a bus that's comfortable, one that someone wants to get on and ride on it, and go to the subway they created. Go to your work in downtown Toronto, get to your destination. The system has to work. In my opinion as mayor, I will take back the transit system and make it a Vaughan transit system, not a mix mash of 5 different municipalities that don't even know the Vaughan transit system. Don't communicate, as Danny said. Don't communicate.
How are we doing on time?
I think someone's got a question over there. Someone's got a question over there.
We'll get to you next then. Okay. Yes, you please.
Well, the interesting part is we're actually in Corella's ward, and he's not here, so that speaks volumes. Yeah, well, Simona is running in Ward 2, and I have the utmost respect for her. You know, the track record of Corella and his old boys club, I mean, the disaster he did at 55 Langstaff is incredible. Destroying that community, allowing people to live in a brownfield is absolutely unacceptable. It's actually criminal. So for him to do some sort of deal in the jewel of Vaughan is absolutely, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen without a task force, multiple discussions, and even at that point, it's not going to happen. His track record, in my opinion, is absolutely garbage. I think this lady had a question. Oh, sorry. Dan.
You're talking about the Board of Trade? I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't really want to go this far, but I'm gonna talk about something that I want to implement if I'm the mayor. Just because if I'm elected mayor, that doesn't mean that everything I say goes, right? Because the people are the ones that come out and vote. We want to get the people more involved. In each community, they're going to have areas. So for instance, the Board of Trade, what I want to do is create a portal where people can actually vote. If it's a big decision, like the Board of Trade, the people are going to have access, just like they're doing online voting right now. They're going to vote about that, saying, hey, we're going to do this development, the Board of Trade. Guess who's going to vote? Guess who's going to make the decision? Just because I'm mayor, I'm not going to make the decision. The people are going to make the decision. And it's the right thing to do. We're going to create this portal, and it's going to be big decisions. So when I make that final decision, I say, well, 60% of people voted for it. The people voted for it. It's not about me. It's about the people. What I need to do is to bring my rules, what I want to do, implement them, right? And allow the people to make that vote. I love that question. That is such a great question. City of Vaughan has it's a great question. The City of Vaughan has channels where we can watch, councilors speak, mayors speak, and we're going to make it where we're going to encourage business owners that they're going to have their TV instead of having CP24, what's happening in the city of Toronto. I want to see what happens in Vaughan. I want people to hear, so it's transparent, and people can get that while they're having their cannoli, while they're having their coffee in the morning, right? No, but that's what it is. So let's do that. Let's educate the people what we're talking about in city councils. There's no backdoor deals. Let's do it. And by the way, it's good for any sort of news. If there's something happening with weather, just like, they're playing CP24. And with all due respect, we're in Vaughan. Why are we caring about what happens in the city of Toronto? Okay? So that's what I also want to do. Those are two areas. I like that.
I think this lady had a question.
I wanted to talk a couple of things if I can, but about the YRT on Highway 7, and this is talking about traffic. Why can't we have them use the bus lanes that were made instead of taking up the right lanes, the right live lanes,
Yeah.
and causing more traffic?
That was the point I just put across.
No, yeah, that's why I was
Yeah.
really happy.
I actually want to implement EV buses. Have the province pay for it. Why do we have all these diesel buses going up and down Highway 7? I can imagine a resident living on Highway 7, the diesel fumes they smell in their backyard. And empty buses. If you look at Martin Grove Road, we'll take you there tonight at 10 o'clock. There's a bus going down there with no one on it. It's called accountability and council. That's what it's called. But no, they get free cars and they get free gas, so what do they care? Maybe
Yeah, the concept of EV is kind of new, but it's a buzzword around the world. So maybe, you spoke about it a few times, you can explain a little bit more as to why it would be viable for the city.
So EV is a buzzword, exactly as the moderator said, and it's called electric vehicle. As we all know, there's a Tesla dealership that just opened up in Vaughan at Western Highway 7. EV buses are the future. They're coming. As a matter of fact, I can tell you a lot of municipalities are looking at it very strongly. School buses have already started with EV. There's no reason why electric buses couldn't be going up and down Highway 7, up and down Rutherford, up and down Major Mac. Okay? There's grants from the province for that. The city of Vaughan's transit system needs to be revamped. In my humble opinion, the transit system needs to be owned by the city, make it so that it works, take people out of their cars, into the bus, and get to the subway, get to Vaughan Mills Mall properly, get to the hospital even. The bus doesn't even go to the hospital, for goodness sake. And you speak about gridlock, I guess we can be there till 11 o'clock talking about gridlock. I sat on Major Mac the other day. The westbound lanes were jammed solid because they were doing construction. The eastbound lanes were jammed solid, and I watched an ambulance come off Highway 400 and couldn't do anything. What the hell did this council do? What were they thinking? What were they thinking when they created Major Mac and the construction there?
I love to jump on the smart lights, to be honest with you. I want to implement something very special for Vaughan. I'm sure that every single person's been at one of those lights, and we stay there. Actually, funny enough, I was there the other day. I shut my engine off. I go, let's see how long I'm staying here for. People are annoyed with these lights. They're staying there forever, idling. It's a terrible thing. So there is a system. It's a little expensive, but I think the investment is the right way. And I think we can be the leader as Vaughan. You know, we're very smart, intelligent people here, and it's sometimes you got to invest a little. Smart lights is the right way to go, especially in the night when no one's around. Let's kind of figure it out. Let's go that way, right? So I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay, I'm told we're short on time, so what I'm going to suggest here is, I think both these candidates will love to meet with all of you, so we'll make sure there's an area for you guys to meet with them and ask your questions individually. There was one very patient lady here from the beginning that wanted to ask the questions. So I'll preface this by saying, really quick answer to this one, and if you want more, you can catch them after we leave the stage. Yeah.
As candidates running for mayor, how would you promote or stimulate the usage of public transportation to try to eliminate the use of buses that have no one sitting on them? So how would you try and promote it to constituents as it would be an advantage for them kind of thing?
Well, as I said earlier, first of all, I want to recognize that actually Simona is in the room, and she's your Ward 2 councillor. I think she should have a few minutes up here to talk. But at any rate, to answer your question, as I mentioned, I want to create a point system that comes off your property taxes. The same value for the residents of Vaughan, that same system can be used on the transit for residents of Vaughan. So ultimately, you're riding free. Okay, and you're going to say, well, how are you going to operate a bus free? Well, if it's an EV bus, it comes off the grid anyway. The other piece to this is, why are the youth paying for a bus? They're going to school. If they're going to school, they shouldn't pay for transit. Okay? Seniors that need to get out and get their groceries, if they're capable, why are they paying for transit? They shouldn't be. If we have EV buses, we're not paying for diesel fuel. It comes off the grid.
I think one of the issues is the transfer from, TTC to Vaughan Transportation. They're paying two fares. So we need to merge and make a deal with Toronto, with Vaughan, and see how we can merge it where they pay once. We'll encourage people to jump on the bus, subway. I think it's important. People, and there's only so much we can cut. But look, with elderlies, we're going to be cutting, any sort of subway access or bus access. I think they paid enough. They paid enough in their years. So let's do that for them. And I think, an age, a certain age, we're going to cut that to, but we have to have some sort of implement where people pay for bus fares. So, but I want to merge it. It's very, very important. So thank you.
Simone, we're going to give you a couple minutes up here to talk about.
I actually just want to, one of the questions, one of the things I wanted to talk about, I want to address another question as well to see if you can support me if elected. So I'm getting a lot of buzz. The Highway 7 expansion, where the province and our regional councillors and our two local councillors that were part of the process in the rollout for the expansion of Highway 7, they did the deal to expand the road, but they forgot about the residents in the sound barrier walls. I've had a major conference with many residents about this, and there's another candidate here for Ward 3, Gino Nardi, that I spoke to tonight. And I asked him if elected, or even Victor Lacaria, if elected, I need to speak to Victor still, would they support me, and would you support in finding out why sound barrier walls weren't part of the rollout of the brand new expansion? There are crumbling fences there, and it makes our city look like garbage.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It needs, our city needs, if you're gonna roll out an expansion of such kind, you need to make sure that you're covering all the bases. I
100%.
don't think there was an engineering firm that was part of that didn't make that a component. And I would love to go back and pull that file to see if money was provided and this current council took it and put it somewhere else and screwed those residents. Because I am gonna do my homework the minute I get in here. And I wanna know if you guys as mayor would, when you guys are elected, will you support me on that?
100%. I mean, we want to keep the Vaughan nice. I mean, we see some of them deteriorating, right? Even some of these walls, behind these walls. So we'd have to take a look at it. I would expect counselors, my counselors, not my counselors, the Vaughan counselors, that they do their job and come to us and absolutely, yeah, that's a big problem. I hear that a lot, so for sure.
Thank you, Danny. Paul?
I will challenge you to pick up the first brick and help me put cement on it.
Okay. Fabulous.
Okay.
Fabulous. All right. You know what? You can catch them off stage.
Good question. I knew you'd be tough. Because you asked me out there, you were tough, eh? You know, this is where the importance is, where you have to work with developers. And you let them know that they have to work at also the green area, green space. If we can work and we're in the middle, work together, I think we can achieve that. If it's one-sided, we're never gonna reach that. And we see that in the past, wow, for a long time here in Vaughan, for over 10 years. We see it one-sided. And, you know, so we need to bridge that. We need to bridge it with the people that are actually investing. You know, the big dollars, we need to put them, make sure they're accountable. So I'm all for that, and I'm definitely gonna be doing that, you know, so, yeah, for sure.
Paul?
I totally stand behind what you're saying. You know, if I want to talk about Mr. Del Duca, he had no regard to bulldoze down trees to expand his backyard into the TRC land without a permit. So that speaks highly of him. If you look at my platform on my webpage, I clearly say I'm going to create a task force, and I actually call it the Tree Hugger Task Force. So I am all for that.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Okay,
good?
gentlemen, thank you both.
thank you.
That was wonderful.
Thanks so much.
Benny?
Thanks. Are you with, associates? Yes? Are you working for him? You guys do insurance? Yeah.
The Vaughan?
Yeah. That's my best buddy. Are you serious? Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Your daughter's amazing.
That's good. Yeah. All right, nice.
Amazing.
Well done, thank you.
Pleasure.
Bien amigos de Qué Buena Radio, estamos todavía en la cobertura de este proceso electoral aquí en la ciudad de Vaughan y acaba de terminar el debate. Nos acompaña uno de los candidatos, el señor Paul Donofrio. Paul es un empresario de la industria del transporte, reconoce los avances de la ciudad de Vaughan y se propone hacer avanzar la ciudad más rápido que nunca. La pregunta que le voy a hacer a Paul es, ¿qué pretende avanzar en los primeros 100 días de su función si es elegido? Uh, Welcome, Paul. If elected, what do you plan to accomplish in your first 100 days?
Great question. First 100 days is we need to get our businesses growing in Vaughan. We need to stimulate the economy, get people to shop in Vaughan, and help businesses. The second thing is we need to look at affordable housing for Vaughan. We need to help our seniors in Vaughan to be able to stay in their home and enjoy Vaughan as a great place. We also need to conquer gridlock. There is too much gridlock in Vaughan. We need to look at the transit system and get people being out of their car and in the transit system and reduce the traffic congestion in Vaughan. And of course, lower property taxes.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's very important this election. Good luck.
Thank you so much for having me.
Volvemos en algunos instantes con otro entrevistado. Qué Buena Radio en vivo. Bien amigos, retornamos aquí con Qué Buena Radio en la cobertura especial de este proceso electoral en la ciudad de Vaughan, en la provincia de Ontario. Tenemos a otro candidato a la municipalidad, el señor Danny DeSantis. Danny es empresario, se define como fiscalmente responsable en los negocios, quiere llevar esa disciplina a la municipalidad y bueno, él dice que la ciudad de Vaughan necesita un liderazgo fuerte, decisivo y transparente. Y claro que Danny se propone hacer él. Danny, if elected, what do you plan to accomplish in your first 100 days?
Well, we knock on our doors and we understand that there's a big problem with cost of living. So we want to take a look how we could freeze tax. I think it's important. I mean, people can't afford to put food on the table. Crime's a big problem. So we want to curb crime and let the criminals know that we're watching them in the middle of the night when they're trying to create this disturbance. We're going to stop it, especially on my term, that's for sure. We take a look at, traffic's a big issue. People can't move from one part of the city, so we need to take a look at infrastructure. I want to make sure that we take a look at, certain bridges and connect certain roads that are not connected. Vaughan needs to move and needs to flow smooth, and that's what we need to do. And one of the big things is I want to connect and bring people together. I want to change that stigma of politicians, that they get elected and they're not there anymore. I want to be there. It's important that we're on the ground. So I think we can bring more of a community, all community together. So I think it's important.
Thank you so much, Danny. Good luck in your election, in this election.
Thank you so much. I'm DeSantis, thank you.
Bien amigos, de esta manera nosotros damos por encerrada esta edición de la cobertura especial de las elecciones en la ciudad de Vaughan, en la provincia de Ontario. Hasta la próxima. Bueno, vamos a aprovechar también para poder entender un poquito qué sucedió esta noche acá con el debate electoral y para ello hemos invitado a James, que ha sido el moderador de este debate. Él nos va a decir cuál es la evaluación que él hace de este encuentro entre los candidatos a la municipalidad de Vaughan. James, what is your debate evaluation?
Well, I'll say this. There are two impassioned candidates. We're so lucky to have them here today. I think they both had an opportunity to clearly express their platform. It was evident to me that the crowd was connecting with them, which was most important. And as a moderator, I think I learned that my job was to really not exist in the grand scheme of the conversation, which I hopefully did well enough to allow them to take the stage. They're both very different individuals, very different demeanors and characteristics, yet both clearly passionate about their city. And I think the points came across beautifully. And as you can see here behind us, the crowd's still buzzing around, asking them questions. So I think we've done our job by giving them an opportunity to speak about their platforms.
James, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very good your conduction in this debate.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys coming. Thank you so much.
Bueno, de esta manera nosotros nos despedimos. Gracias a todos por acompañarnos. Hasta una próxima oportunidad. Continuamos con esta cobertura de la elección en Vaughan. Ustedes saben que el 24 de octubre, este lunes 24 de octubre, los ciudadanos canadienses de todas las municipalidades de la provincia de Ontario participarán de un proceso electoral, elegirán a los alcaldes, elegirán a los concejales y también a los consejeros escolares. En esta oportunidad estamos en la ciudad de Vaughan y nos acompaña el candidato Gino Nardi de la circunscripción 3, del Ward 3, y le vamos a hacer una pregunta obvia que pretende hacer si es elegido. Gino, what's your plan if elected?
Well, being my first time out, I saw there was a need for a regular person to have a voice in the city. And it all started when my dad passed away last year, and I see how hard it is for my mother with a pension to live in today's lifestyle. It's hard to manage. So I thought I'd want to get in myself in there and see if I can help seniors. I guess be more make things more affordable for them. And then on the other hand, even for young people, I think it's important that we make affordable housing somehow, and maybe start some program where either rent to own, or we got to look at some different options. That's important. And then you have things like the crime and traffic, which is another big points in Vaughan that we have to work on, and hopefully we can come up with some plans to fix all these issues.
Thank you so much, Gino. Good luck in this election. Bueno, nosotros estamos con Gino Nardi, les decíamos, el de la circunscripción 3, Ward 3, él es candidato a concejal aquí en la ciudad de Vaughan. De esta manera, una vez más, les decimos muchas gracias por acompañarnos.